It's a Tuesday. No, it's not. It's a Thursday morning. I thought it was Tuesday, but it's a Thursday morning. It's the 14th of October. We've got racing on the Vaal Classic track. With going good. It's a wonderful day outside. The penetrometer is 23, and there are 8 races carded today. Neil is still in Nigeria, but you leave tomorrow.
I leave actually later today, Nico. Thank the Pope.
Well, you're home tomorrow.
Although I must say, yeah, I'm going home. I'm missing home now. So I'm going home. But having said that, it's been a real vibrant and energetic visit. So thanks to all the Nigerians for their hospitality. But I think it's time to go home. I've got to come back, of course, but it's time to go home and see the family.
Yes, the family's waiting here for you. And Neil, before we get on with today's 8 races, I just want to mention something very quickly. As I said to you, we've got a cozy relationship with the Bar and Burta stable, and they gave me a call yesterday to say, Nico, we've bought a horse that we want to sell to you guys. And it's a horse called Kun Ming, the former Candice Bass Robinson runner. And this is an appeal out there to anyone that wants to get involved in this horse. As we know, Neil, the Bar and Burta stable are absolutely hot to trot at the moment. They have been winning with everything. They won with Moya La Liga on Tuesday. They won a couple of races on Saturday. So this is the horse's profile. I had a lengthy chat with Bar and yesterday. The horse last ran on the 2nd of October at Durbanville, finishing about 7 lengths behind Celtic Knight. But that's the horse's profile. It is a daughter of Ideal World, a 4-year-old. She's only rated 68 at the last run. She may well come down from that run. But Barend, Neil, you'll agree with us. Barend is one of those exceptional trainers that does well with previous horses, well, horses in training that have come from previous trainers. No matter which trainer it comes from, he tends to get a couple more out of them, a couple more wins out of them.
No, definitely. And the irony of this is that I've actually tipped Kunming at the last 2 occasions during the Western Cape racing. So I think she's much better than those last 2 runs. And maybe she's got an upside in terms of distance, I think. So we will see. Let's see where we're at with the form here. Have you gone all the way down to the bottom, Nico?
Yes, the last one was on the 2nd of October, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, she's run 7.3 and 5.2, so she's not running poorly. She's just not. Maybe Cape Town's strong, eh? I mean, it's
well,
it's
Neil,
a strong centre.
If you look up here, 5th to Marina in the
Correct.
maidens.
Well, that's why I've been tipping it.
Beaten 3 lengths, beaten under 3 lengths. So anyway, the option is out there for people to get involved in this horse. So it's been offered to us. And we really want to try and get people involved. This horse will run. It's not like the other horses where they're just turned 2. So this is a horse in training. Yes. It'll arrive apparently on the weekend. Barend will get it ready for a race sometime in November, he tells me, in early November or in mid-November. So if you are interested in taking a share of Kunming or buying the whole horse, and I can tell you it is in the region of about 40,000 Rand that we're looking for, then please contact me. And you can get hold of me on the email address, clockingthegallop@gmail.com. Clockingthegallop@gmail.com. Send me an email and we'll put you straight into this horse. We are definitely looking at it as a possibility for us here at Clocking the Gallop. And I'd like you to come on board. It's a horse in training. You don't have to wait. Well, you have to wait probably for about a month for it to run. But Barend is very confident it'll run well first up.
Yeah, that's if there's any left after I've finished speaking to you. As I told you, when you told me, I said you have to go public because I've been following it for some time. So I'm very familiar with the horse. I'm familiar with that Marina run, and there's another run in there, ran 2nd to Fane Boss, which was a very good run. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I hope by the time you get calls, you don't say Neil's taking it all.
Okay, so
but anyway,
we'll deal with that. But I mean, if you are interested, as I said, clockingthegallop@gmail.com. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Right, Neil, let's get on to the business of the Vaal racing today. Classic track, Thursday. Let's go to race 1, which is a maiden handicap, and it's to be contested over 1,500 meters. Just to let you know that in the first race of the day, which is a horrible race, blinkers have gone on Fort Snow.
Yes.
That is a late change. So that has got the blinkers. I liked this horse last time out, Neil.
Yes.
And I can only put it down to the fact that Solomons didn't have a clue about it. And Yeni's back on, which is an interesting move on behalf of Paul Matchett here.
Yeah, Nico, actually, I looked at that because I thought, I know you went for it last time and I didn't. I don't, it's not too good.
Yeah.
No, well, because with all due respect, she's not too good. But the thing is, this is a maiden handicap. I mean, and as a result, she is giving weight, but she's giving weight to horses who, aren't too good either. Which is why that she's giving them weight. Well, you can work it out. If she's carrying 60 and she's giving weight 5 kilograms to horses, and in some cases, sure, what is it, 11 and a half or something to the bottom weight?
Yes.
Then she doesn't have much to beat. Nico, I found 2 roughies in the race, and I can't see because I haven't printed out my card, so you can tell me what price they are. But I was looking for some improvement from 2 horses here, and in particular from Honey Bunny. What price is Honey Bunny?
Yeah, that's number 7, which I've it's 20 to 1, Neil, and I'm happy you mentioned it because it's on my short list. Even though she's not drawn the best, she's drawn out at 9, but I like that as well, Neil. I thought that was a runner at the weights. It's 20 to 1. They've got it at 20 to 1, but I thought she was a definite runner, Neil, and I had her in my short list there. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did because she's getting 7 kilograms from the top weight. Look, the run to Axiom, there's nothing but between them behind Kiawa, I think. Kiawa. And that is a 4-year-old too, is Axiom. What price is that? I like those 2. So Axiom might be an even bigger price.
Both at 20 to 1, Neil. They are both 20 to 1 chances, yeah.
I was going to play around with those, Nico. But one would expect, I don't know if your opinion is, one would expect Gilded Grey and Fort Snow to feature in some shape or form in this lineup, wouldn't you?
And also Mike de Kock's form is very well, and so the money has come for that. That's shortened from.
That's obviously the horse to beat because de Kock's form, and then also the mother Flirtation, who of course won the Summer Cup. So I mean, I would have thought that's but now she's not much value. I don't know.
To open up the meeting, and it is the first leg of the bipod, I tell people to go as wide as possible because it doesn't look like, even this horse Cover Me in Sunshine, who's got a form update, ran 3rd to Byron Borders' Capri Gold in that Work Riders on the weekend, was beaten 7 3/4 lengths. Even that comes into it for me at 7 to 1, but I didn't like the race at all. I did put Fort Snow in with another chance, the fact that it's got Blinkers and Muzzy Yeni back on, but I don't think Pink Legacy's a 17 to 10 chance as it currently is. I think that there are others that can give it a run for its money, and hence I would go wide. I wouldn't put you off. I prefer Honey Bunny to Axiom, but as you say, there's precious little between them on the run to Kiawa. Okay, so that first race is nasty, and it doesn't form part of the PA, thankfully, which we're going to go to next, race 2. There's a Fillies and Mares 90 handicap over 1,000 meters. Scratch here are 2 Bella Chica and 7 Munia. Those are the horses that are out of this race. Nara is short priced 8 to 10, Nara, for Gavin Larena. And then Big Eyed Girl is at 22 to 10, and then 4 to 1 about Muletta. Neil, if I can start first, I went into this race saying, why is Larena not on Big Eyed Girl? But then I realized Big Eyed Girl was only carrying 54 kilos. And I don't think Gavin Larena would be wanting to walk around at that weight. I think he's more in the region of 57 now. We saw him at the sales and he looked gaunt. I said to him he had to eat something. And I think that's the reason why he's not on Big Eyed Girl. But I made it a race between Nara and Big Eyed Girl. I don't think you should read anything into the jockey situation there. But Danielson has ridden Big Eyed Girl before when it ran 3rd to Alex the Great. But I think from the value perspective that maybe Big Eyed Girl may row in again.
Yeah, I agree with you in so much as the differentiation between prices is probably in Big Eyed Girl's favor in terms of value. But I have to say that I was very impressed with Nara last time. I thought that was quite a hot field.
Yeah.
And she really won very well, which didn't surprise me. Remember, I liked it because, we'd had that Finlayson had moved his horses to Magna, and that had been you know, there was a run of form, as it were, with the Finlayson horses doing well first time up for Magna. And this was very impressive. She was on her bicycle early, and nothing got a blow in at all. In fact, the computer form comment I'm reading here is spot on, in command. I think she was very much in command. So with the proviso that, yes, I'm not so sure about 8 to 10, but I suppose a winner's a winner. She was clearly my first choice. I went 3 from 6, but I hear what you're saying. The differentiation in the betting might not suggest how close it is. So it's not a good thing, Nara, but it is my first choice. I was very impressed with her last time.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to tip winners by the number of lengths, as certain people that we've known in the past do, that this was going to win by so many lengths. But in my estimation, and this is how I worked it out, there was half a length between them.
Okay.
On the one form line, on the one horse that I'd used as a collateral horse. There was half a length between them at the current weight structure, one carrying 58 and 54. And that half a length was in favor of Big Eyed Girl. So I'm not saying that Nora can't be Big Eyed Girl. What I'm saying is that I make it a half a length between them either way. Plus minus half a length in terms of a handicap, if you're betting on handicap. But then you know my track record with setting spreads on horses winning by lengths isn't too good. It's 0 out of 1, and it was allowed again.
Yeah, to be fair to you, that was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, I was still very green and young and impressionable. But anyway, so that's race 2. Okay, let's move on to the third race. It's a maiden handicap, 1,500 meters. Start of the pick 6. Sherman Brown gets on number 2, Ra Ed, who's now trained by Stephen Moffat. He bought it last Friday at the sales, and he told me, Nico, I really like this horse, and I'm going to step it out. It's meant to run on Thursday, he said, and I'm going to step it out, and I think I'm going to do okay with it. So his wife owns it, and Sherman Brown now rides. That's the one change. No blinkers for 7 Pomodoro Hills, and no rider yet for number 9 Merlin's Point, because Wesley Mowing's not riding today. So that's the situation there. Neil, we liked a bit of this horse, Ogeterix, when it made its debut for Laird in its first run, and it ran third at 25 to 1. It's the favorite today at 18 to 10, with 5 to 1 being offered about Global Player and Scott Aditu, and 7 to 1 about Pomodoro Hills. Your thoughts, yeah?
Well, again, it's a maiden handicap, so you need to spend a little bit more time perhaps on it than ordinarily, and treat it as it is, which is a handicap, which means you go back to a horse like Riot, and a horse like Lint's Legacy even, because they have, in inverted commas, dropped down the handicap. So Riot at one stage was a 78, he's a 66. So in a maiden handicap, so he's racing off a 66, but at one stage he was a 78. But he has been extremely costly to follow. Lint's Legacy at one stage was a 79, Nico. It's now 54. And on top of that, it's got blinkers back on. Well, in fact, it's never had blinkers on, drawn 3. What price is Lint's Legacy?
Lint's Legacy is 16 to 1, Neil. So you like that as an outsider?
I like that as a bit of an outsider, but it's actually not my main outsider. My main outsider, and I probably lost the plot here because I'm returning to my good friend M.H. Zuma on this horse Tiger Fly, who is going to think that he's absolutely run loose. I mean, he's carrying 48.5 kilograms, if my calculations are correct.
Yeah, that's right.
He's carrying 48.5 kilograms, right? Which means that he's getting 11.5 kilograms from Global Player. Now, if our friend Mr. Zuma can get to the front, and didn't run a bad race behind another level last time. It was a good thing. That was Candice Dawson's horse.
Yeah.
You know, anything's possible because it is a handicap. At 11.5 kilograms is a significant amount of weight. So anything can improve here. I'm sure Pomodoro Hills is better than his last run. So I think my advice to everybody, be a little bit wary here because it is a handicap. And Ogeterix, who will be on the scene, I'm sure, is not great value. And he's also drawn 9 and he's got to carry 57. So I'm going to go like in the bipod here. I'm going to go 3, 5, and 6. But admittedly, I'm guessing a bit. 3, 5, and 6 for me in the bipod.
Now, just very quickly from the point of view of a young Mfanelo Zuma, he's got a number of rides today, Neil, that he could win on. They've certainly got lively chances. When you look later on the card, because of the -4, they come into it with a big, big chance. The question is he capable of bringing them home? Now, he's only had 5 wins in his career. I was looking back at his profile last night. So he's had 5 winners in total, but he's certainly got the opportunities today to deliver. The question is, can he make it to with at least one of them? Which come up a bit later on. And I understand what you're saying about Tiger Fly comes in with no weight. So it'll be interesting to see how he rides it. I had the view that Orgetrix was the horse to beat over here. I know it's not good value, but I think it's looking for the ground, Neil. I looked up the damn Vintage Award. It is a Vercingetorix. We know Alec Laird's been very quiet in the month of October. I mean, we've had nearly half the month gone. He's only had 5 runners in the month thus far. So obviously he's done his vaccinations and been a bit quiet on the horses. So he's slowly wanting to come back, but I made Orgetrix the horse to beat. And like you, I gave a chance to a horse like Linty's Legacy. And as we mentioned, Raw Ed, well, Stephen Moffat said, Nico, I'm leaving it in, and I think it'll run a good enough race for me. So I know it's carrying 60, but he did reckon it had a chance. And, so that's my take on it. I am an Orgetrix fan today, but I do think your outside of Linty's Legacy is one to look at. Neil, if we can move on to the 4th race, which is a merit-rated 77 handicap, 1,500 meters. Blinkers go on number 2, Sacred Lotus here. And this horse, Lion of the Desert, is now owned by the Hollywood Syndicate, as is number 3, Ushuaia. Both now Hollywood Syndicate horses. 2-1 Lion of the Desert. Funky Music's 33-10. And then Noble Striker down at the bottom is 4-1 with a bit of money for Euro Cent, number 5, into 6-1. Your 4th race choices?
Well, I'm starting to get into an area in the middle of the card where I didn't have as much time to study as I wanted. I started studying the first races, and then when I got up this morning, I started from the back of the card, and I never met in the middle. So I'm probably going to default to you. But my early observation was this is very competitive, Nico, extremely competitive. I would go wide in this race because it's a 77 handicap. There's a relatively wide spread. When I say widespread in the race, it's only 60 to 57, but I think they're fairly closely handicapped. So I'm not actually 100% sure myself right now what I'm even going to do in the bipot or the PA for that matter. I think the ex-Tarry horses, well, they are still with Sean Tarry, but the ex-Van Niekerk horses that are with Hollywood are interesting runners. Funky Music is overdue, really. And I just want to point out one thing that it struck me when I was studying, is that Smunga Kamala could have a really good day today. And the reason for that is that he's the senior rider on display today. There's no Kennedy, there's no Hewitson. And, as a result, he sticks out like the proverbial today. So Smunga could really have a good day. And we know if he's capable of getting into that mood, he could bang a few home here, I think. And Funky Music is one of those.
Okay, I gave a chance to Euro Cent, Neil, but I was worried about the trip of the 1,500 meters. He ran 1,500 meters in his penultimate start behind Back to Black. I would be more at home with him over 1,400 meters, but I was particularly interested because I watched his last run, and I don't think it was the best of rides that he was given, to be honest, and to be fair to Dennis Schwartz as well, who had never ridden him before. I made him a runner today, Euro Cent at 6-1. I put him into the race. Lion of the Desert has a big reputation in that, and like you said, Funky Music comes into it. And but I was particularly interested in Euro Cent. I'd like to include that in the play as well. I think it is open, but I made it 156 to put in there for me. We're going to move on to race 5, which is a merit-rated 66 handicap over a mile. This race only now 5 runners because all of 4 Dark Vision, 6 Monsoon Kenny, 7 Kind Judy, and 8 Just Kidding have all come out. And now it is 18-10 Bureau de Legend, 9-4 Sergey, 33-10 Timbavati River, 9-2 the Cambo. Every time I see the Cambo, I shiver, Neil, because she cost us a small fortune in its 5 runs here in Joburg, and 6-1 Flinders Range. 5 horses. How do you rate them?
What price did you say Bureau de Legend was?
18-10. It was 3-1, but obviously with all the scratchings and the deductions, it's now 18-10.
Okay, now I thought for a brief moment, I thought I heard you say 8 to 10, and I was going to say, good heavens, no, not
18,
for me.
18 to 10, or 2 to 1, effectively. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is about her, right? She won, but it was a maiden handicap last time.
Yes.
And we actually liked it. I seem to remember, though, that it was a meritorious win because I think she was actually giving weight to colts in that maiden
You're
handicap.
100% right. I think she was the only filly in the race, Neil.
Correct.
And she was a 3-year-old at that. She was a 3-year-old filly. We're talking about 3-4 weeks ago, Neil.
Yes.
A 3-year-old filly giving weight to the eldest. So it was a very, very good win. And like here, just translate the word maiden. In fact, throw the word maiden out. It's a merit rated 66 handicap, which is a step up from a maiden. So it's the same sort of thing, except these horses have won before, but it's a merit rated 66 handicap. And again, she faces only males, of which she's giving weight to all of them, except for Sergey, which she's level weights with.
Yeah, and the thing is that the cock form, you've mentioned it already. I mean, it is absolutely on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think she's got improvement. I mean, just last time when she won the maiden, if you remember, we had Mike on the show, and he pointed out, he said, look, she's got top weight in the maiden handicap, giving weight to colts. So he wasn't over bullish. Even though it was odds on, he said she's got a task to do. She's a nice filly, but she's got a task to do. But to be fair to her, she probably did it well. So she certainly has got some upside. I'll be interested to hear your take on it because I'm kicking for touch again in this race.
No, I do like her. I think she's an up-and-coming horse. I was always impressed by what she looked like, and that she needed a bit of a trip when she came out over 1,000 meters. So I'm in her camp. I'm definitely in her camp. With Timbavati River, who I've been for a few times for second. As I say, I don't really want to know about the rest. So for me, the only horse that could have beaten her was Timbavati River, but 2.5 kilos. It could bring them pretty close together, but I'm still in Bureau de Legends camp.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with that then. If you that bullish, and there is a lot of upside there, so happy to go with that.
Okay, on to the 6th race, a classified stakes. This is over 2,000 meters. You can scratch number 6, Princess Kesh, who I think had a chance in the race. So that comes out. Other changes, you've got number 11, The Brassway, and number 12, Waltzing L, and number 15, Saffron Rain. They've all got compression masks on. And number 13, Kurt's Approval, was formerly with Ivan van Veek, I see, is now back to Erico Verdenese. No blinkers, no tongue tie for Kurt's Approval. So Neil, run as one, another De Kock inmate, is going for a hat trick, is 16 to 10, carrying top weight or joint top weight. 16 to 10, run as one, 9 to 2, Irish Rain, and then 7 to 1, Humble Tune for the African Betting Clan boys, and Oris Apollo 7 to 1. Now, this being a classified stakes would automatically revert to looking for the fillies. There's only 2 fillies. They're right down at the bottom, Rabi the Rebel and Saffron Rain, who I tipped to win a maiden last time at a big price. But somehow I think these fillies are kicking for touch here a bit.
Yeah, interesting, Nico, because you told me early on you didn't particularly like Saffron Rain last time, even though you got the lot. I mean, I just want to draw attention to, again, this is a race that reminds us of one of our real shrewdies that we got, of course, not that long ago when we tipped Irish Rain.
That's right.
As a good thing. And it opened up 20 to 1, went off 4 to 1 and 1 for us.
Yes.
So, I'm holding a bit of a candle in the window for Irish Rain to run well, but I couldn't honestly, I mean, I think I've been to that well and drank nicely from it. So I'm not so sure, although it's to be shortlisted again because of the draw, and Cole Dickon rides it, and he's ridden it well the last 2. Nico, I thought again, I was going to shop around for a few here. The one that I thought might be, you can tell me because I don't know what the betting is on it actually, but he's probably a little bit high in the weight. Oh, you might have mentioned is Oris Apollo. The blinkers go on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he needs because he's been on the premises a couple of times. He's not getting the job done. Maybe the blinkers from a 3 draw could help him a little bit in what I consider to be an open race. What I will say, my and I'm going to default to you. You were alluding to it. Runners One has got quite a lot of pudding for a 3-year-old, and I know he's on the up and up, but you know, I suppose the fact that he's from the de Kock yard again is a huge plus. But I don't think it'll be easy for him to win with 60 kilograms from a 10 draw.
Yeah, I think with that de Kock form running high at the moment, and the fact that he's won both very well and going a bit further, I don't think that this will be an issue for him. So I think he is the horse to beat, Neil. Like you, Oris Apollo, I reckon, has a chance with those blinkers on. Irish Reigns definitely got a chance, Neil, only carrying 52.5 with Cole Dickon on. The horse that interested me, but not drawn well, was this horse Elusive Swan, Neil, the 7, that I thought had a chance at 16-1. I was looking at that as a big roughie in the race. I think he'll run okay. He's gone from Jeff Seister to Chase Mourjane now. And I think Elusive Swan will be running on. So I wanted to mention that horse. But my heart of hearts tells me the way that Mike de Kock's horses are performing, that Runners One, we're going to look to beat it and it's going to win. My gut feeling is that people that are taking on de Kock favorites at the moment, certainly in the last week, have burnt their fingers. And I think you should just run with the form while it's running hot. So Runners One, Humble Tune, Neil. I spoke to Dave Scott on the weekend, actually, and he mentioned that it was running today, and he said they think it's over the right trip again. But I think it's got a decent enough place chance. I think it's going to battle to win, carrying the level weights with Runners One, but that's another one that we have to mention. But it is quite wide open here.
Yeah, I mentioned 2 things today, and I think it's worth, building your day around it. There's the Kamalo factor, and there's the de Kock factor. Smunger, because he's the senior jockey, and it's some of the other big names are noticeable by their absence. So I think Smunger could be his playground today. But equally, that de Kock form is dominant at the moment. So, we discussed it offline. I mean, it's Paul Peter and Mike de Kock at the moment, isn't it? I mean, they've got the racing to themselves at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Neil, let's move on to the 7th race, a merit-rated 66 handicap. It's over 6 furlongs, 1,200 meters. Pacifier's gone. Number 6, Catch the Green Light. Number 1, Touch of Fate. Alamites in front, Unshod behind. Those are the changes there. They're betting here 2-1 Corvette Captain, the 4. That's the favorite. 4-1 about Touch of Fate and Edward Longshanks. 5-1 After Hours. And then 10-1 Soweto Rose and Bridge of Spies. Now, this is where the Infinello Zuma camp could feature, with Bridge of Spies carrying no weight, 50 kilos. But I thought the horse to beat here might have been the favorite Corvette Captain. Although I liked a bit of this Clint Binder horse, Soweto Rose, Neil, even though it's just been a maiden winner, it's carrying only 54.5 kilos with Caller Jacobs aboard. And the reason why I liked it, I'll tell you very quickly, is in its second run, it ran to a horse called Fateful Day, giving it 4 kilos. Well, Fateful Day came up and won yesterday, I think it was, again. I made Soweto Rose the value horse here.
Well, I'm happy to go with you, because this race had me stumped a bit. I went around and round the mulberry bush, to be honest, and I made a case out for everything. Even as you say, Soweto Rose. Well, not everything, perhaps. I wasn't going to put in a couple, but it did have me stumped. Touch of Fate is not a young horse anymore, but that was a very good run last time. I liked Meet the Captain when that won, but Touch of Fate was giving him quite a lot of weight. It was giving him 6 kilograms. He's got a shoulder 61.5 again here, but that was more like the old Touch of Fate. So yeah, both Binder horses, actually, I've got written here on my side piece of paper, both Binder runners could be runners.
By the way, the computer form have made an error there, Neil, because Carl Stradham actually claimed 1.5. So the horse on that day carried 59.5, which means it's up 2. Which if you don't look carefully, you don't pick that up, but they've been a bit errant, the computer form.
Yes, very errant.
Wrong weights. They haven't been taking into account and I don't know whether it's a program related issue, but they haven't been putting in the apprentice allowances somewhere. So you have to double check. Carl Stratton definitely claimed 1.5. on.
No, well, that's very poor, because at the end of the day, I mean, the computer forms our Bible. That's like opening the Bible and it says "in the end" instead of "in the beginning." I mean,
yeah. So I just wanted
okay.
Yeah.
That's important information. Nico, I didn't like this race. I'm going to be playing wide. I'm going to try and take my chances in other races, building around Mike DeCocker and Simanga Kamalo, so that I can afford to go field here, actually, in the jackpot and the pick six. I don't like it. Look, Corvette Captain is my first choice, but he's a 5-year-old who's only had 12 starts, so he's obviously had his issues. But if you go back, I mean, he's run behind Sinfonica, Bahika. He's run in a class above this, so he would be my first choice Corvette Captain. But he's still got a shoulder 59.5. I'm going a bit wider there.
Yeah, so I made it Corvette Captain, Soweto Rose, and Bridge of Spies were my 3 if I'm playing flat. Those were the 3 I like there. Let's move on to race 8, Neil, the last of the day. It's 5:20. It's a fillies and mares 74 handicap. It's a sprint 1,000 meters. No surprise to see Lucy English scratch, insufficient recovery time, so she's not going to run. She won by 4 lengths, beating Captain's Run in that small field on Tuesday, so she's not going to run today. By the way, just quickly, just to go back, I mentioned just now Fateful Day won yesterday. It didn't. It ran second to its stable companion. I thought it had won because Gavin Van Zale's interview afterwards said it all. He won the race with Just a Guy thing and finished second with Fateful Day, but he looked completely distraught that Fateful Day hadn't won and that the stable companion had upstaged him. And I know they think very highly of Fateful Day. So I was mentioning Fateful Day with Soweto Rose's form line, but they think very highly of it. So I think that was an exceptional run. Anyway, back to this race. So Lucy English was already being backed in. So it was 9-4 at the time of the withdrawal. But outside, if you take that out, Neil, it becomes wide open. I just wanted to mention one horse to you here before we carry on. If you like Lucy English, I want you to look at number 10, Winter Renegade. Okay.
That's my horse.
Okay.
That's my horse.
So Winter Renegade, Neil, beat Lucy English on debut by a neck and was 5.5 kilos better off for the run. Now, I went back and I've done homework on this. This is the half sister to Vaar's Vicky, by the way.
Yeah,
excellent. I want to mention a few things about this at 25. Well, it is 20-1 now. She's got a compression mask on as well today. But I went back and had a listen into the interview afterwards. And Paul Matchett mentioned that they'd battled with this horse's shins prior to it making its debut. And they might have had the issue afterwards. But the interesting thing about Winter Renegade, Neil, is that all 3 runs after it won beating Lucy English were around the turn. And it's back up the straight today. And it's drawn 13 and it's got Yeni back on. I made that the roughie of the day, Winter Renegade.
Well, it's uncanny, Nico. I mean, you're sitting in South Africa. I'm sitting in Lagos. And we found the same horse. I also like the fact, I mean, you've been there. I was going to ask you. I know it was raining a bit before I left, but, the ground's going to come up softer for that horse as well, which is maybe... just the stings out. That's going to help any shin soreness. You don't have that hard winter going. So yeah, I think, Nico, that that's a runner, definitely.
Yeah.
And I actually would suggest that to be our
price booster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each way, I think.
Each way, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
it's unfortunate there's not a 40. It's unfortunate there's not 14 horses, because if there was 14 horses, we'd get 4 places.
4 places.
But I'm happy to take my chances, and if it burgles a third or any better, I liked it too. And I thought Muzzy booking, there was a lot of positives lurking towards the bottom of the handicap. It is an open race, and I'm glad you found that.
Yeah, so that's the horse I found, and I must confess, Neil, that I did snaffle a bit of early prices prior to us doing the show. So I'm guilty of that as charged. But that was when Lucy English wasn't scratched. So I'm going to have a bit of a deduction to deal with. But yes, so we're going to go for Winter Renegade as our price booster. Outside of that, Neil, I thought On Cue again, and Finello Zuma takes 4 off. I thought that had to have a chance at 7-1. But all these prices are obviously going to be adjusted inwards. And then Zodiac Princess, I wanted to give a mention to, because I gave her a mention last time out, and she didn't do so hot, but I see the blinkers are back on today, so I gave that a bit of a chance too. But anything else outside of Winter Renegade you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I think a very open race out of that. In my play in that race would be a Winter Renegade Roving Bank with the field. That's what I actually wrote here as my bet suggestion, because I think it's very competitive beyond that. You know, Feather the Nest has been bought, of course, by our friend Monty.
Yeah, I think it's too short for that horse. I think the distance is going to be an issue. I thought it was a bit.
Yeah, but and I'm sure Smunga will be riding his utmost for Monty and team. So not that I particularly liked it because it's carrying a bit of weight, but I'm just pointing out it's an open race. You've got that newly turned 3-year-old Lula Star, and probably one of the better red rays we've seen so far. Yeah, so, you know, Ian van Schalkwyk must be one of the luckiest owners. You know, good luck only comes to good people. So Ian gets a few. He seldom buys a bad one, does he?
Absolutely. And he's, you know, of course, he's got very good trainers as well that help him along the process. But yeah,
absolutely,
I agree with you. Okay, Neil, so we're going to end it off there. We're going to go with Winter Renegade, whatever price it is. It's an each way selection over there. And that, I think, will take care of today's proceedings. Have a good trip back home. We'll speak to you on Saturday morning, racing at Turfentown on Saturday. So looking forward to that.
Yes, and I'll do Cape Town. I see it's Cape Town racing on Saturday morning. So as soon as I get back, I'll be printing out my computer forms and back at the grindstone. But Nico, thanks for today. We'll see what price we get from soccershop.bet on Winter Renegade.
Thanks very much, Neil. Yeah, it's nothing like returning home to your family. It's got that warm, cozy, fuzzy feeling. So I'm looking forward to you coming back and joining.
Well, my daughter turned 2 weeks old yesterday, and I really haven't seen much of her, so I can't wait to get home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, we're saying cheers. Don't forget, if you want that offer with that horse Kunming, contact me, clockingthegallop@gmail.com. Neil and I will be putting that together for the Bar and Butter stable. Thanks very much, Neil. All the best.